Life is a war with a series of battles. Every living thing must engage in some kind of war for survival. That's why, when a baby is born, the moment they enter the world they cry because they are entering a war zone without much resources to fight and survive. I know Winning Mind program is all about having a positive mind and winning in life. However, it is true that most wars are won without fighting. Engaging in a conflict that you know will inflict massive casualties in your camp, and you'll end up losing no matter what, must be the apex of stupidity. Some battles require a lot of resources, waste a lot of emotional capital, and results may change nothing for you as a person. You end up losing the battle, embarrassed, ridiculed, and worse off. Please don't get me wrong, we must fight because life is a war. However, let's just say the only way of winning some of these battles is by not fighting. This way, you will lose a battle, but in the process, you'll win the war. According to General Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, to fight and win a battle your strategy must include the following: deception, military might or force, and cohesion among the ranks. Another general, though he does not advocate for deception, but General Jesus Christ did say that we are fighting like sheep among wolves. He said to be gentle like doves but shrewd like serpents. He also said to weigh our options against the arsenal of our opponents before we engage in a conflict. He also said that a house divided against itself, lack of cohesion in your ranks, cannot stand. If your opponent cannot be deceived by your shrewdness. If your power cannot measure up to that of your opponent. And if your mind is divided about your opponent and the battle, don't engage. So, know your limits, weigh your options against what you stand to lose or gain. That said, here is a list of the battles we believe you should not engage in. Of course, it's not a comprehensive list. So, please add in the comments section what you believe we missed on our list. Battle number 3 and number 7 will surprise you. Stick around. 1. Change. One of the things you must be sure of, and prepared to deal with, is change. It is said that the only constant thing is change. Change is everywhere and every time. Your body system is changing, the climate is changing, your environment change, your status and situation changes every single minute. I've seen people frustrated that they are growing gray hair. Then, they try to fight it by dyeing it. You realize, you are only changing the appearance, but, under the dye, you still have your gray. If change is good, embrace it and move forward. If change is bad, adjust your life and find strategies to mitigate against it. Do not fight change. Just prepare for it because you cannot win this battle. The main sign of people who refuse to embrace change is depression. No change is the end of the world, unless the end of the world is the change of course. Let's keep cool heads and an open mind when changes are taking place. 2. Nature. Any fight against nature is a fight in futility. In fact, attempting to resist or modify anything against nature ends up in a personal injury and calamity for your immediate surrounding. Mother Nature is one thing you should never mess with. She takes no prisoners. Any transgression on Mother Nature has immediate consequences. In other words, the punishment of fighting Mother Nature is right in the act you commit against her. If you jump off a building, no judge needs to sentence you to breaking your neck, gravity will take care of it. If you stare direct in the sun, no one needs to prophesy that you will go blind, UV rays will take care of it. If you have a habit of deforestation and environmental degradation for your posh-gated community, just prepare for serious drought, after which, all your upmarket properties will be under floods because you have declared war on Mother Nature's ecosystem. If you don't like the way a naturally occurring something is, the best solution is to learn how to live with it. Example. If you were born black, don't try to make yourself Caucasian. If you're white, stay white. If you were born a man, that is not your choice, don't try to be a woman. Battle against nature cannot be won. 3. Spouse. This is the kind of battle that has no winner, all are losers. Even the perceived winner is a loser. Trust me on this one, because I have personal injuries and lasting scars to prove it, but if you don't trust me, then ask any married person if they have ever won against their spouse. Marriage, especially the one sealed in that thing called holy matrimony, is one big war zone where the best strategy is to always retreat. I know a man who used quarrel with wife, in the commotion one will be kicking the table and the other will be smashing the TV, pulling down curtains and breaking windows with her pointy shoes. The aftermath, they'd both be in casts and bandages counting huge losses of house appliances. But why? I'd ask myself. Who won? Retreat, I tell you, is the best strategy. Marriage involves kids, properties, in-laws, communities, and sometimes nations if it's interracial. Let me say this again, this battle has no winners. When it ends in divorce, hearts are torn apart and people become emotionally numb. No winners. 4. God. Fighting God means that you are in direct contravention of His law. It means you always find reasons to disobey and question what clearly God has established as the moral compass for humans to thrive. Don't steal. You say rubbish, I need the stuff. Don't kill. You say these are my enemies. Love your neighbor, you say he's a black man. Don't fornicate, you say but she is cute. Anytime you go against God, you sentence yourself to a life of misery, unhappiness and damnation. Tell me one wicked person in history whose life has ended well. Yes, they do look glamorous on TV, but I used to work in a hospital where they came for ulcer medications and other emotional related therapy. For those of you who say you don't think there's a God, let me tell you who He is. When you take a long flight and the aircraft is behaving funny in the sky, and seatbelt sign is on throughout, that thing you beg in your mind to prevent the plane from crashing, remember that thing? It is called God. When your child is gravely ill and looks helpless and doctors don't give you much hope, that little hope you hang on to, that somehow a miracle will happen and your baby will wake up, that hope, that miracle is called God. Don't say I never helped you. And that thing which has the ability to make sure you sleep and not wake up the following day, don't mess with it, don't fight it because you'll lose all the time. 5. Your boss. I know 90% of you wishes thunder could strike your boss and turn him or her into some biodegradable cow dung. I used to be employed, so I feel your pain. Unless you have a path of overthrowing your boss and replacing them, don't fight your boss, you will always end up the loser. This will frustrate your work, spoil your mood at work, hamper your productivity, and you may end up losing your employment. Unless you are 100% sure losing your job has no negative implications, just deal with your boss very wisely. There are ways of harvesting small victories against your irritating boss, but going to war with person who writes your check, not smart. They are different types of bosses, by the way. There's a monkey boss, mafia boss, scatterbrains boss, bulldog boss, slay queen boss, etc. Stay tuned. I will tell you soon the difference and how to deal with each one of those types. Bottom line, fighting your boss is not a good fight because it is not in your best interests. Join us for part 2 of this video, as we go through the last 2 battles that are not worth your strength and time. If you enjoyed this, please consider sharing with a friend. Subscribe and give us a like. If you have time, leave a comment and tell us what you think about our content. See you in part 2. Thank you for watching.